Veritas Files here. Wanted to do a video on why I reject the viability of a violent armed revolution in the United States. Many of you have sent me private messages or made comments in the past inquiring about this kind of thing, and indeed it comes up a lot, whether it's on my channel or elsewhere. And I've talked about it to some degree. I had a discussion with Reggie Kegler, Demcad, 6 or 8 months ago on the topic. Did a couple videos on it. Haven't really gone into a lot of detail. Not on what I would consider some of the most important issues. My intent is to kind of lay out some of the important issues, the most important ones, and to bring some understanding as to my point of view. This will be something of a lecture. I hope you will not take it that way in the sense that I'm talking down to anyone. I mean that in the sense of academic, just because it needs to be, but it will be different in the sense that I'm not going to stop and define terms or anything like that. If you need that, you're going to have to private message me, or you're going to have to just look it up on your own. But the most important reason why a violent armed revolution is not viable within the United States and why I reject it is a philosophical one. It is that we are not prepared in terms of worldview or ideology to carry out such an act successfully. America, regardless of what it looks like today, was founded in the Western tradition. And unlike what most will tell you in today's history classes, not strictly speaking on the basis of the Enlightenment. In fact, it was founded most specifically on the Judeo-Christian moral ethic. And it is a sad commentary today that someone like Thomas Jefferson, who was not a Christian, he would look far more like a Christian than most of the Christians in America today. This is why I say to those of you who are not Christians, be careful judging Christianity on the basis of its professed followers. If you're going to judge Christianity, read the Bible and look at Jesus Christ. That is where you're going to find the light of truth and where you will make the best judgment. Moving on. Revolutions or guerrilla warfare, insurgencies, whatever you want to call it, that have been successful in most countries have had this important aspect of worldview and ideological preparation. In other words, they were sufficiently monolithic in their thinking, in their conception of the world and the basis for their country or government, that they were willing to come together to fight in a common cause or common purpose in order to achieve a common goal. We do not have that. If I'm being generous, we have maybe 10 million Americans that might qualify, but I'm not sure it's even that high. When you get down into the details of worldview, you will find that people drop off like crazy. You will find that they flee as soon as you get to particular issues. It is not debatable. It is a certain fact that America was founded on the Judeo-Christian moral ethic, the Judeo-Christian tradition. Part of that includes a belief that there is a God. That belief is the foundation of the theoretical underpinnings for our rights. It is not a debatable issue that our rights are only meaningful if that proposition is held to. or that the rights to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness are those which impregnate all the rights that follow with meaning. You do not have a meaningful right to the free exercise of religion, to the freedom of speech, or to assembly, or to holding firearms in your possession if you do not first have a right to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. This, of course, means that you cannot be anti-gun. It, of course, means that you cannot be against the government allowing for the exercise of religion even in its midst and under its encouragement. That's very controversial today, but it is in fact true. It means that you cannot be pro-abortion. In a less obvious way, it means that you cannot be pro-gay marriage, or the undefining of marriage, where marriage means essentially anything and ceases to mean anything in particular. Now, this is what they've done to the Constitution. The words of the Constitution don't mean anything in particular. They certainly don't hold the original meaning that the founders intended, and so they mean anything any particular court wants them to mean, which means they mean nothing at all, which means we have no protections. Okay, the same thing follows with the concept of marriage. And all I'm saying in describing some of these issues is there are many hot-button, highly controversial social and political issues, like term limits, for example. If you're being consistent, you're not pro-term limit. A term limit is the voter. It is not a law. It is inappropriate, if you believe in self-government and liberty, for us to try to make self-government and liberty idiot-proof. The fact is, if we do not deserve our liberties, we should lose them. And if we are being consistent in our belief in self-government and liberty, then we should lose them rather than to attempt to make them idiot-proof, which will cause us to lose them anyway. I'm not happy to report these things. I'm not happy to be saying these things. I don't like the fact that this is the way things are, but indeed, this is the way things are. Moving on from some of the philosophical here, we need to understand that a violent armed revolution requires certain things that do not exist in sufficient numbers in the United States. In past revolutions, what has often been the case is that there was a relative parity of arms. We do not have that today. We just don't. If you looked at the revolution, you would have differences in training, minor differences in guns, in the armaments of the day. But by and large, a group of farmers could threaten a group of soldiers. And I don't just mean threaten their lives. One gun will threaten someone's life. I mean, they would threaten to win a battle against the soldiers. And while we can certainly use what arms we have left to kill someone, we cannot win battles with them. And we are far short of being able to win a war. Our weapons are semi-automatic. They are of multiple makes, multiple styles, multiple calibers. They are a mix of handguns, hunting guns, shotguns, and assault rifles. Our ammunition supply is tenuous. The vast majority of people have a few boxes of ammunition at home, if any. I know my father had a .30-30 Winchester, and he had the same box of ammunition for it. I think it was a 20-round box, sitting in the basement for 22 years of my life. One box, just sitting out on a shelf in the basement for 22 years. We just don't have it. I mean, I don't know what could be more clear. Yes, there are 5 people here and 3 people there and 10 people there and 20 people there across the country that have this or that. But you don't have sufficient numbers. You can't win with 5,000 people. It's just not possible. I don't know how really to convey the fact that you are totally outnumbered in terms of ideology, worldview, the ability to shape the debate. You will be immediately marginalized in the press, immediately labeled as terrorists, and a lie told often enough will be considered the truth. It's already happening in our schools. It's been happening for decades. Our children have been poisoned with propaganda and dysfunction that has been bred into their home lives. It is impossible. The truth is on your side, but humanity is not on your side. And we need to come to grips with this. It is most meaningful in life to make a difference rather than a statement. And here is my point of view, simply spoken. If you are willing to die in order to make a statement rather than a difference, you are an idiot. I'm not trying to offend anyone unnecessarily. I'm trying to tell you the truth. I would rather live in a world of tyranny with decreasing liberty, decreasing freedom, increasing tyranny, and make a difference than to die needlessly only to make a statement. And that is precisely what would happen to anyone who put themselves into the position of actively supporting an armed, violent revolution in the United States. We need to survive in order to make a difference. And the difference we make is a statement. We need to adopt and make a choice to take the wiser course of action. We need to stop paying attention so much to our visceral feelings about what we are losing and pay attention to what we can preserve and what we can gain in terms of character in the future. Because it's going to be things like integrity and character that are going to be the difference between you and the moron who still calls himself an American but is not. And personally, I'm looking for those people that will support that cause rather than one that will get them killed needlessly and rob the world of a good citizen and me of a friend, a comrade, someone with whom I can lock arms and make a difference. If you agree, let me know. If you disagree, let me know. I just hope you'll consider what I'm saying, folks. I appreciate you taking the time to listen. Be another video coming up soon. Take care.